what were your initial reactions of the show?
Well, what I knew going in was that it was some kind of like a documentary or a mockumentary, something like that. And I knew there was no laugh track or live studio audience. I didn't know those things, but I didn't really know. I had no idea that they worked at a paper company, a paper distribution company.
Distribution company,
Yeah,
yes.
the name Dunder Mifflin, right? Is that the name?
Yep. Yep.
That name just makes me smile and laugh just to that because it's just so goofy. But it could be real. It could be real too. Um, I enjoyed it. I really did. I like the humor in it. I like the awkwardness of it. The um, the fact that he's kind of like, I guess Michael Scott, like he's loyal to the company, and he wants everyone to like him. But he's all about. He seems to be. I've only seen these episodes, but he seems to be kind of all about himself. He wants the spotlight on him, or maybe he likes to, you know, he wants people to think he's funny, which they rarely ever do for the reasons that he wants. So I was really pleased with the first episode, and I couldn't really say that I was going into it with any expectations because I didn't look it up, and I've never looked it up, and I've just seen. Um, I knew it was based on I guess, a British show of the same name, which I've never watched that either. So it made me laugh, and I enjoyed it. And I will probably. It also seemed like a show. I could be wrong. Um, there's just maybe there's something that streams all the episodes together, like a plot, but they're also standalone as well. Like you wouldn't have to know exact. Like to get certain jokes, you may need to watch the whole season or season 1 or 2. But there's jokes within every episode that the average viewer would get. Like I got a lot of the jokes.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's several in the later episodes that I may not have got because I don't know the characters as well as if I had watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
So
That's so true because it was before streaming was a massive thing and you had to like show up every episode. And so if you missed a couple, then you just kind of missed out.
you said what, 2005 is when it started?
2005. Yep. I had just gotten to Kentucky and my sister messaged me and she's like, "You got to watch this show. It's so awkward. It's so weird. You've got to watch it." But that's what I like about it is that, I mean, there's the Jim and Pam thing, which just kind of goes on for like a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And but you could watch one episode and feel the tension and not know anything about what has happened before.
Yeah.
Because they just do such a good job about it. So the interesting thing is the pilot episode. That's one reason why I want you to watch the pilot is because that pilot episode is almost word for word. There's a few adjustments to it, but it's pretty close to word for word of the pilot episode of the British version. They
Really?
took it and just did a minor reworking of it, but almost every single scene is exactly the same. They did make one of the things that they did change about it. Are you still there? Uh-oh. We may have, oh, no, yeah, you're there. Okay.
Okay, we're back. Okay.
Okay, sorry. But one thing they did change about it was they kind of changed the character. Michael Scott's a little bit different than Ricky Gervais's character because they said that you could be an incompetent manager of some business in UK,
Yeah.
and people would believe it. But if you were an incompetent manager of a business in the United States, the audience would be so angry and be like, "There's no way this guy would have gotten fired years ago because we're such a capitalist country." So they had to figure out something to make him good at, and some kind of redeeming quality, and he's a good salesman. So they figured out. So it's almost exactly the same
I'm gonna have to
episode
watch it
except
then.
for a few adjustments.
Yeah, I think, is it on Netflix as well?
Yes, maybe.
Okay.
I've only watched a few of them because I can't understand a lot of what they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've started watching a lot more British TV lately, so now I understand the dialect a little better.
I might turn on the subtitles just in case.
There you go. But it's but the so that's why I wanted you to watch the first episode.
Yeah.
But then every episode beyond that is all completely new. They wrote it themselves. And then I think the first season's really good, but the second season, to me, is the best season in the history of television.
The second season, really?
So good. But where was I going with that? Oh, so my initial reaction, you could tell I'm a little passionate about this show.
Good. I like
my
it.
initial reaction when I first saw it was it brought up emotions that I've never felt when I watched a TV show like that, like a sitcom.
Yeah.
I felt that way when I watched like sketches on Saturday Night Live where you're kind of like, oh, you feel a little weird and a little awkward at times. And you're kind of rooting for somebody, but you're also like, you're kind of like creeped out by them at the same time.
Yeah.
But you're doing this every single episode. So I was like, this is weird. This is a weird feeling, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, yeah. What I can't remember if this was in the first episode. Let's see if I wrote it down there. But kind of like when Michael Scott is acting like he's Hitler and doing that. He does some kind of like noise, like he's emulating something, making some kind of noise with his mouth as he's walking away. But he keeps doing it. He keeps doing it for like 8 or 10 seconds. And what he's doing is awkward and funny, but the amount of time that he does it is what's even funnier. And then he looks back at Pam. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Pam? And then he says his comment, and I laughed out loud at that. I was like, that was executed, written perfectly, but it was executed by a way that I think only Steve Carell could have done.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled it off with the likability, because it was just like what you said. He's repulsive in a lot of ways. I mean, not repulsive, but he's inappropriate. Either some of the things that he says, even if it's not meant the way he says it, but he has enough redeeming qualities, or he's naive enough or dumb enough that you like him, and you're like, oh, I wish he would just do one joke that would actually make the office members laugh or something. But he's not yet to do that, as far as I've seen.